The boys are back in the saddle, chasing down the promise of cold gold at the end of the gravel.
Yeah, we're going to Cederberg!
But the Cederberg doesn't just let you roll in, it tests you with the gravel that shifts under your wheels, cliffs that crowd the sky, ready to gamble with whatever waits beyond the next bend. They met before sunrise in the 5-degree air, breath turning to mist. The convoy rumbled out of town, chasing the sun as it spilled its rays into the valley. We kick off with a Cape Town classic, Bainskloof Pass.
Built in the 1850s by Andrew Bain, the OG of mountain roads. It's a 30k stretch of narrow tar, wrapping through the cliff faces and waterfalls with more than 120 bends to keep you busy. It's a place where throttle meets history and where every corner demands respect. It's more than just a pass. It's the gateway that cracks open the door to adventure. Next on up, Gydo Pass. This one slips a little under the radar, but it's pure riding pleasure. The name Gydo is said to mean steep passage, pulled from the Old Sand language. Built back in 1848 by our boy Bain and his band of convict laborers. It winds up with 32 curves and bends, twisting through fruit orchards and fynbos, climbing steadily into the cooler Koop-Hochveld air. It's the kind of pass that quietly shifts you from farmland to mountain country.
The road stretched out, long, flat, and kinda dull. 80 k's of tar, broken only by the odd orchard and a tractor humming in the fields. That's the truth about adventure rides. It ain't all corners and hero shots. Sometimes you just burn fuel, trade banter over the comms, and keep one eye on the horizon. But way out there, started rising again. Old sandstone walls, waiting in the haze.
A quick break to stretch the legs, and then, finally, Middelberg Pass. Our first taste of gravel for the day, and man, it does not disappoint. This pass has been here since the late 1800s, carved from an old ox wagon track that has clawed its way up the mountain to link up with Cederberg.
Yay!
It climbs nearly 1,000 meters above sea level, winding for about 20 k's through sharp switchbacks and loose stone. It's rough, the kind of pass that rattles your teeth and tests your throttle hand. But look around and the whole valley is laid out beneath you. As we start descending towards Cederberg, we cross paths with another pack of adventure riders, grinding up the opposite way. Brothers in dust, each chasing their own stories across the same mountain. The last bit of tar stretched out before us as we rode towards Oakharpse Road.
This is one of my favorite roads. Enjoy it, boys.
This was the original wagon route heading towards Clanwilliam, back when horsepower still had hooves. This was the last gravel before the Cederberg, and you could see the changes in the land.
And so the red sand in the Cederberg begins. Yeah. Just like that, eh? Just changes immediately. Whoa. I need new tires.
Cliffs rise up sharp on one side, and the river snakes around us as the roads keep twisting deeper into the unknown.
Oh, river's not flooded. After all these rains, I was hoping that the river was going to be flooded, but I guess not today.
Sometimes bone dry, but sometimes a raging river. I guess that's the magic of these rides. No two are ever the same. You don't just ride the land out here, you gamble with it. Alright, here we are at Nieuwoudts Pass, the last big climb before we drop into the heart of the Cederberg. This pass cuts through some of the oldest rocks in South Africa and is named after the Nieuwoudts family who settled nearby in 1893. This road is about 15 kilometers of gravel winding through steep switchbacks and narrow stretches where the cliffs crowd in close. It's rough and rocky in parts, but it's one of the most scenic rides you'll find. Towering sandstone walls on one side and the vast wilderness stretching out on the other. And then, once you crest it, the valley opens up, and you realize you're crossing into something both ancient and wild. The Cederberg's raw beauty hits you full on. Meaning, look out, we head up Uitkyk Pass, and it does not disappoint. Up here, the views stretch on forever, spilling over the valleys and ridges that feel like they've been here since time began. This bit's been tarred for a couple years, but don't let it fool you. Soon enough, it spits you right back out onto the dirt.
So there's this little river crossing after the driehoek. So I wanted to see if there's any water flowing through it.
Stuart, het jy 'n bietjie van 'n watervetjie, so wat is dit met jou?
Yeah, bro, amphibious.
And just when I thought everyone had made it through safely, just before switching off my camera, a cry for help echoes through the cardos.
Oh my Werner, is alright? Werner? Oh my Oh! Oh, shit! Die klippe is glad, ek het geval. Ek is nat. Ek hoor nuwe tyres. Hoe gaan ek hier uitkom? Gaan ek hom dalk daar optaal?
Ja, ek dink. Moet hom aansit? Nee. Kan hom nie uitklats.
Uitklats?
Ja.
Wat, deur die bos?
Ja, so, links op.
Links, oké.
Ja.
Ek wil stryd.
Nee.
Spijt ik nat.
Ja. Amper, kijk.
Dat is hij.
Kijk, kom links, nee? Ja, nee.
Ja.
Ik denk ons moet hom weer uittrek. Hey, los jou stand op.
En dan kan mijn bandje uittrekken.
Ja.
Ja, hou dat goed. Oké, so hierso. Dankie, dude.
And as Werner made his way back to us, naturally we had some questions.
Do you want to tell us what happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
There was this nice river, and then as I went into it, there was no grip, and I fell.
Yeah, so that about sums it up. Anyways, back to the dust.
And finally, the Oasis, a dusty little haven in the middle of nowhere. For riders, it ain't just about the beer, it's about the roads that led to it and the stories that pour out with that first sip. The near misses, the silent moments, the throttle wide open. That's the kind of reward you don't get from just showing up. Brothers in dust, each with their own story of the mountains behind them. Cheers to the ride, the dust, and the beer-fueled brotherhood. By the time they kicked their stands up at the Oasis, the sun was already sinking low, casting long shadows that danced across the rugged faces of the Cederberg. It was that hour where the world turns gold, and every stone and ridge seems to glow from within, a reminder that daylight was slipping, and there was still one last pass waiting to test them. So they rode on, engines rumbling through the quiet, chasing the sun, the last stretch of gravel that would lead them out of the Cederberg. A long, winding road where the cliffs stand watch, like old sentinels carved by time itself. But the Cederberg, she wasn't quite done with them yet. Right at the summit, one of the boys caught a sharp stone, and their tire hissed out its protest. A reminder that out here, you don't just ride through the land rides you right back. They patched it up, laughed it off, and pushed on. Because that's how it goes with adventure. You're never quite sure what the next bend might bring. When they finally rolled down the last descent, the Cederberg lay behind them, scarred into memory, stitched into stories they'd tell for years. A place that takes a piece of you, but leaves a little of itself behind. The Cederberg ain't just a ride. It's a living, breathing legend. 300 million years of stone, carved by wind, water, and time. Home to ancient sand paintings, whispers from the first riders who ever called this land home. Out here, it humbles you, not by trying to beat you, but by reminding you why you ride in the first place. Not to conquer, not to check a box, but to belong, if only for a day. As they chased the sunset down the long tar road home, the day's ride lingered in their minds, every twist, every dusty climb, every cold beer earned.
So, until next time, grip it, rip it, crash it and sip it. Now go out and explore.